Hello, future celebrity. It is my birthday. I'm Whitney Euland, and I am here to celebrate with you. That's right. Today we are talking about celebrations and why you actually need to celebrate yourself if you want to be famous. So what do birthdays have to do with becoming famous? Well, a celebrity is someone who is celebrated, right, by others and really loved and adored. And that has to start, though, with you loving yourself, which is surprisingly very uncomfortable for a lot of people. And let's be clear, when I say celebrating yourself, I don't mean thinking that you're better than anyone else. It's not an ego, it's not like a status where people are higher or lower. What celebration really is about is honoring yourself, your choices, loving the decisions that you've made, and using that to fuel your actions going forward. Ultimately, when you spend time celebrating yourself, being grateful for yourself, being proud of yourself for the decisions that you've made that have led you where you are, it creates a ripple effect. It signals to other people that you're safe receiving their love, their adoration. This is the real reason that birthdays have to do with celebrities. A celebrity is someone who is celebrated. And I think oftentimes when we think about a celebrity and them being celebrated, we think about them receiving lots of gifts and adoration and paparazzi and everyone loves them, cheering your name kind of thing. And we think that that would be a really good and welcome state. I think a lot of people actually crave that. But the truth is, being in the spotlight and receiving that much attention, even if it's all positive, is really uncomfortable. And it's actually really dysregulating to your nervous system. And so if you want to be famous, the job of having the resource of fame is being in the spotlight, being in the public eye. And we're not used to having that many eyes on us all of the time and receiving attention, even if it's just positive attention. Let me ask you this. How comfortable do you feel when people are singing you happy birthday? I have a 3-year-old, and on his birthday, we were all going around the room singing happy birthday to him, and he shrunk. He started crying. The noise of all of us singing happy birthday scared him, and it was just really overstimulating in this moment, which I think is super interesting just watching as his brain develops, that even receiving all of this love, it felt threatening to him because he was in the center of attention, which is inherently kind of a vulnerable place to be in. I used to feel like it was so embarrassing to celebrate my own birthday, and I would kind of pretend like I didn't care. And I even remember my college roommates throwing me a birthday party, and I was so uncomfortable. I remember they hung up all of these streamers and stuff, and I came late and didn't know what to do and kind of just glitched because I just was uncomfortable with an entire group of people celebrating me. And I think that's common for a lot of people, and whether it's struggling to receive love on your birthday or struggle to take a compliment. I remember one time someone complimented my sweater and I was like, well, I like it, but it's kind of old and it's XYZ. And really just diminishing the compliment, diminishing the beauty of the sweater, I just felt uncomfortable sitting in that receptive energy and in receiving adoration. And something I think is super interesting, a lot of the time when I'm working with clients, I'll have them close their eyes and picture performing. And whatever subconscious image comes to mind is usually representative of how many eyeballs you actually feel safe having on you at any given time. So oftentimes what I found is that the number of people that people see is almost an exact representation of their online following size or of the venue size that they've been able to perform at, because our brains have these little capacities for what we feel safe receiving. I know for a long time I was stuck at 80,000 followers because the most people that I could ever picture was 80,000, because that's how many were at the Eras tour here in California when I went. And it took active regulation to expand my consciousness, to expand the capacity to receive more eyeballs. And again, all of this comes down to the very first step in that is celebrating yourself. Because a celebrity is someone who is celebrated, but if you can't do that for yourself, then you're never going to be able to receive the attention of other people. And we'll get into some of the practices for how to actually do this, because it doesn't have to look like a loud, flashy celebration. It doesn't have to look like something expensive. When you take these moments to celebrate yourself, it helps you regulate and say, oh, it's actually safe to receive. Part of the reason that this also matters is that if you want to create the resource of fame, which is just having people's attention, you have to be magnetic. People have to be drawn to watching you. And what makes someone magnetic is when they're existing in a hyper-present state, in this flow state where they feel safe being seen. And what's a repulsive energy is when you're in fear, when you're afraid of judgment, when you are afraid that you're going to be rejected. And so that's the energy that your body will shift into, this negative energy. That's what happens when you get disrupted from the flow. That actually literally just happened to me, where I was in the flow state, and then all of a sudden I became very aware of how I was sounding to all of the people in the room, and I got really self-conscious unconscious. So then my brain, I got out of the flow state, which isn't a magnetic place to watch, but it's also not where your creativity lives. If you think about it, this is like a adaptive response as humans. Let's say that you're in the middle of the wilderness and a bear comes and like is attacking you, then all of your brain power and all of your energy needs to go to running away from the bear, like, right? Not to painting your best work or writing a sonata. Your body goes into these survival responses, so you actually don't even have access to your highest levels of creativity when you're in a state of dysregulation that happens because you don't feel safe being perceived, you don't feel safe being celebrated. So let's get into some of the ways that you can work on this. One, really easy, is like next time someone gives you a compliment, just say thank you, and that's it. And then like your mouth stops moving, like you just received that. You don't need to give disclaimers, you don't need to give compliment back to the person, just receive it. Another way to celebrate yourself is literally just to ask yourself at the end of every day what you can celebrate about the day. There's this book called Atomic Habits, and it talks about habit stacking. So if you want to integrate a new habit into your life and you add it to an existing habit, that will help you create this new habit. So for example, when I lived in New York City, every time I got on the subway and I swiped my Metro card, because back in the day we had to actually have physical Metro cards, thank you very much, I would then think to myself, like, what am I celebrating for myself? What am I proud of? And really getting to not just the external celebrations, right? Not just like the booking or the viral video or whatever, but being proud of yourself and really celebrating yourself for how far you've come, for the number of times that you put yourself out there, for the brave ask that you made, for showing up and celebrating yourself. Even like whenever I'm coaching clients, sometimes I'm like, literally just celebrating yourself is the celebration today. The third tip that I have is to create some sort of ritual around when things go well. So it is actually really important when you close a deal, when you book something, when you have a viral video, to create some sort of ritual around this. And this can just be as simple as like going to your favorite restaurant, picking up a dessert. And it doesn't have to be about food, but it can. Calling a friend, going on a long walk, watching your favorite show. And this kind of goes into the fourth thing, which is my favorite thing to do, which is to write your past self a thank you letter. I'm just such a big fan of gratitude and being grateful, being in that energy of receiving and of gratitude. That is the magnetic energy. And the more time that you spend in that, the more you're going to create it, right? Like finding these times to really honor yourself and be grateful for your past self and be grateful for the opportunities that you have, being grateful for what you have created and everything you have in this exact moment. That's the energy that's going to create momentum, that's going to be really magnetic to people anyway. So take the time, write your past self a thank you card, thanking them for believing in you, for taking actions to get here, and having your back along the way. Now let's talk about the cost of skipping celebration, because it can be really easy to skip celebrating yourself because our brains have what's called hedonistic adaptation, which means that it always is going to look for things going wrong. Your brain doesn't actually want you to celebrate. It wants you to always be looking over your shoulder, being anxious and worried about the future. But what this ends up creating is that you feel like you're always behind. You feel like there's this line that just keeps moving with your success. And I remember in college being like, well, if I only get this role, then I'll believe in myself and then I'll be proud of myself. And then as soon as I did, then it was the next thing, and just continually moving the bar for where you think you're going to give yourself permission to rest and celebrate and actually enjoy your success. You'll just keep moving that along unless you carve out the time to actually create a ritual around celebrating it. Another way to get better at celebrating yourself is to actually celebrate your own birthday and really make it something that's meaningful to you, instead of just, doing what everyone else does or what your friends normally do for their birthday. Take some time to ask yourself, if I could do anything for my birthday this year, something that's really just for me, how would I want to celebrate myself? How would I want to celebrate this year, this lap around the sun? And then go do that. Life's too short to not celebrate your birthday. Now, if you want to see how I end up celebrating my birthday, then make sure to head to my Instagram. And until next time, where's that cake? So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It is still January. This video comes out on my actual birthday, March 6th. And I say, why don't we start celebrating my birthday now? So I have kindly demanded that my crew bring me a birthday cake that we will all be partaking in now. So now for my final act of celebration, I'm going to sit here while the whole crew sings to me happy birthday, and I'm going to try and just enjoy it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Whitney. Happy birthday to you.
Wow, thank you guys. That was really good.
Yes.